Hello everyone, welcome to SEO Unmasked, episode number 52. Today is November 15th of 2018. As always, we're glad to have you with us. I'm Garrett Groff.
I'm Volatile.
Steve Brownlee.
Yeah, so what's new? What's up?
Well, I mean, I know Garrett and I have finished another couple of cards. He's on to the Aer Lingus card now. I'm thinking about the Lufthansa one. How about you, Vin, since you missed us last week?
I was just presented with this gimmick 5 seconds ago. What do you want me to do with this?
Well, I'm assuming that, gimmick or not, you're regularly grinding out credit card bonuses. So what's your favorite?
No. I haven't opened a new credit card in about 6 years.
Oh wow! So you're totally clear on the 524 chase rule then, so you can just get straight in there if the Chase Inc. preferred and hit it up with the big business cards, man.
I am getting some pretty good business card offers. I have no reason to open another credit line right now, so I'm going to avoid it as long as possible.
You do. Just, I mean, you're smart with your cards, right? Just clear the welcome bonus and then don't use it again.
Yeah, clear the welcome bonus and help yourself to a free business class flight to Europe.
Do you already have the Chase Preferred Inc. card, the business card?
No.
I think that one, that's like 75,000 points or something, and then that's worth
$1,500 roughly.
Yeah, and free whatever you want to use the points for, miles or hotel stays, whatever.
If you like staying at like Conrad and stuff, then like $2,500. But just in routine use, you get like two cents a point.
I'll look into it.
Yeah, man.
You guys are.
You'll get to more of these conferences for free because we've got this feature now because everyone can't get to Brighton SEO because it's expensive, but the conference is free. So all you got to do is head up 2 credit card bonuses and hop on the plane to a free conference. Well, it's like £100, so it's almost free. Stay at the Hilton. That'll be free.
Speaking of conferences that matter, Affiliate World in Barcelona has released the dates. What was it, July 8th and 9th, 2019, or 9th and 10th? One of the two.
I don't know. But you're the one that's booked your flight.
Well, I haven't booked it yet, but I'm gonna.
Book it. Found your flight.
Yeah, I'll book it tomorrow.
I'll grab it now quickly for you guys.
Right now, I think John's gonna join me. That's on the show. Flying out of Minneapolis, you can fly Delta One Suite for $3,500 round trip.
I'm sorry. What is the date for Affiliate World?
8th and 9th of July.
Oh, cool.
Barcelona. So that'll be a good one.
So 3,500 round trip, and then how much is lodging?
I don't know.
about €175 a night.
You don't have to fly first class, obviously, but I think the last time I flew from Minneapolis to London.
Stop calling Delta One first class.
Well, whatever the fuck.
Business class. As Delta CEO likes calling it first class, even though it's not.
Whatever. I mean, premium economy is going to cost $2,000 anyways. So.
Yeah, that's the thing I don't understand. Is like it's the premium economy and economy have got so expensive these days, and you can get like these super cheap business flights. I mean, Garrett's really unlucky from Minneapolis because he doesn't have any competition other than Delta. So if you were on the East Coast and stuff, you can get business class return to Europe for like $2,400, stuff like that. Because you've got all the options then, like KLM, Air France, Delta, United. They're all competing on those routes, so you can get some pretty sweet deals. So if you can stomach economy to where Vin lives in New York and then fly down business class from New York, you can get some pretty sweet deals.
Yeah, I'm definitely in for PopCon Miami, and depending on cost and whatever else I have going on in July, I should be in for
I also looked. Minnesota Search Summit is on June 21st.
You booked that already?
I haven't booked it up.
We should just go back just because that was fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go.
I'm thinking about going. It seems like I can get. It seems like KLM will get me there. I was just looking at this before.
If you buy the ticket before December 31st, it's $350 or something for the ticket and the 1-year membership. So I'm obviously going to do that. Otherwise, I think the ticket's like $500, was it?
That's a cool little conference if we want to start our table or booth pitches.
I'm not getting a booth at one that small.
It can't be expensive, man. It's maybe a few $100.
I know, but I don't want to stand on the booth, and I'm not going to fly staff into. Like, we're not going to take people with us to that conference, are we? I mean, like, to stand on the booth, it's like, come on.
I saw Affiliate World's like $7,500 or 7,500 euro, or was it 7,000 euro?
Well, he said it would just be whatever it is in dollars converted into euros, so it's going to be like.
No, it's not. It's not converted. It's just changing the euro sign to the dollar sign.
Oh, really? Okay, that's still not too bad.
So it's like $8,000. So if we split that, that's $4,000. Well, we can talk about that later. That's not. Hey, Valentin's here.
Yeah, well, I guess Ben's got to decide if he's even going to the conference before we talk about whether we're going to get booths there or not. But yeah, it should be a really good conference. I think that one's worth going to. I might come to the one in June. I just need to see if I can squeeze that in because it's so close to Affiliate World. But then it is pretty cheap to fly there, it seems like. I don't know why it's so expensive for Garrett, although I have to go on like these dodgy airlines. Like, what the hell's Brussels Airlines? Yeah, this is the most ridiculous route ever. I go Birmingham to Brussels, Brussels to Toronto, Toronto to Minneapolis, but it's super cheap and it's all in business.
How much is it?
£1,700. No, £1,668.
So $2,000 for all that hassle? Jesus.
Well, the Birmingham to Brussels bit's literally an hour hop. So like,
yeah, but you're changing planes. I'd rather spend $1,000 extra.
Well, I'm not counting that. I'm not counting that as part of the travel time because I've got to travel like an hour and a half to get to Heathrow anyway. So, and that airport's 10 minutes away. So,
well, all right. Yeah, it's future plan stuff. First up on the news here. Barry from the Roundtable has an article out. Google does not use Better Business Bureau or other trust building sites for ranking. I guess I thought that was pretty much understood, but I can see where people would think it might. I guess a lot of people don't know that the Better Business Bureau is just a bullshit thing. Like, it doesn't mean anything. You just pay to be on there. And, I mean, people can obviously lodge complaints and you can answer them, so it's like a public forum, but outside of that, it doesn't mean anything.
I would imagine, though, the same rules apply as any other local citation, that you should have your, if you're on the Better Business Bureau, you should make sure your address, name, all that kind of stuff matches, right? Or do you think it ignores it completely?
Like a citation?
I think it matters for a citation, not for anything else.
And yeah, I mean, they probably don't use it. Like, it's not, you don't get an extra link weight because your link from or mentioned on the Better Business Bureau, but you're still going to get an indirect ranking benefit because of the power of their website if you get a link from them.
Yeah, and I'd imagine they're definitely on the list of citations that Google counts. Like, I'm not a believer in this thing where people are like, oh, I build 50 citations a month, and they're just working their way down into crapper and crapper sites that no one. I can't imagine Google looks at the ones that don't even have any traffic, but I'd imagine Better Business Bureau is one of the ones that definitely gets looked at by Google as a genuine citation.
Yeah, and the Trustpilot is coming up big too. I know Trustpilot is another one of those.
Yeah, we met those guys in Brighton last April.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, they were pretty cool.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. They'll always remember Garrett.
Did you do something memorable, Garrett?
Oh, I certainly did.
Garrett had been awake for 34 hours by that point, so...
And I was hammered.
Yeah. Yeah, so don't fly in like the day before the pre-party at Brighton SEO. Give yourself a night in the hotel to settle if you come from abroad.
Yeah,
and that's just 40,000 points, so half of one of the bonuses to stay an extra night at the Hilton. So
I can't find my wine bottle opener. This isn't good.
Oh Jesus!
Fucking Thursday night.
Well, that's the other thing. We acquired this wine at a massive discount, courtesy of American Express.
Oh yeah, with your points?
No, they just straight up giving money off. Like, so basically, both for Garrett and we had separate different companies doing the deal, but Amex were doing £20 straight off, but they were also giving you a link where you got another 15% off when you ordered from the wholesaler.
Yeah.
So you were getting, like $12, $15 bottles of wine, like coming in at like $6, $7 when you were actually paying.
Cool.
So
yeah, is that what they call Amex offers? You get the emails for the Amex offers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you basically never pay your fee if you use those.
That's great.
Like they keep giving me 7% cash back at places I go to anyway.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have 7% cash back all month at your local superstore. It's like, wow. And you still get the membership rewards. So you're still getting, depending on what multiples you get, you guys get better than we get, but you're still getting 2% at least back in membership rewards, and you're getting 9% cash back on all these things.
Sick.
Got to get in the game then.
Yeah.
Get in.
But yeah,
I expect you applied for the Chase Inc. preferred business card by next week, and you can do your review on it when you get your card too. Bang that application in after the call.
I'll have to pick your brain more about what I should get, but
Garrett will tell you.
We'll talk about that off screen.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, the consensus of Better Business Bureau is Google doesn't give it a heavier weight, but it's not bad to have. I think that's the bottom line. I think the main topic this week is this fucking web.dev tool that Google unleashed. Did you guys get to play with that a lot?
Yeah, when it first came out the other day, it didn't work for about 36 hours.
Yeah, it's not working for me. I'm getting 500 everything.
And it worked for me this afternoon. I ran the skincare site through it, and it got a 99 on a SEO score, and then everything else was horrible.
Yeah. They talked about it on SEO Roundtable, and I kind of agree with most of the sentiment of SEOs about this, because it's not really an SEO score. It's they're looking at certain metrics that have nothing to do with what most SEOs handle and calling it SEO score. So for an agency that's talking to their clients, and their clients go and run their own website and they get 100 SEO score from Google, well, then why does the client need the agency anymore if they already got 100, a score of 100? So that kind of sucks. Just another way Google's screwing over SEO agencies. But,
I don't think that's why they've done it. I think it's like the PageSpeed tool and all these kind of things. They're just trying to add more tools that encourage people to because what they want is everyone to use their webmaster tools, so they get all the data. You've got to bring new features out that get news and get people talking about it, because some random people will be like, oh, I can find out my SEO score now, and they're going to use webmaster tools for the first time. So it's about growing their product, not screwing us over. It might screw us over by proxy, but that's not their...
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think that's what their intention was, but that's what the perception is by SEO agency owners.
I mean, I don't think it will screw anyone over anyway. I mean, I think, if someone does have their on-site shit perfect or whatever, they're not under any illusion that if they're on like page 3 that their SEO is perfect.
Right.
They clearly still need help, I think. Consulting's hard though. It's just an extra bit of fun for the consultants, but they'll get used to it.
For sure. And it's built right on Lighthouse, and that's what Search Console is, right? So they're just taking Search Console data and presenting it in a different format. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's another tool to add to my stack and get information that's not going to do me any good anyway.
I mean, no one seems to be saying anything useful about it in this article. Like the tweets that he's picked out are just nonsense. I mean, I don't know if he puts any effort into picking his tweets, but I think in most articles they're more interesting than these ones. I mean, things like it's too broad to be useful. Google provides all kinds of
link noodles.
Why do you always win this show?
I don't know.
Here's the new rule. Vin has to buy you a drink every time you win. That'll motivate him to beat you.
Why? So you don't even have to try?
I've got no chance. I've won once since we started the show. How many episodes are we in? I've won once.
52.
Yeah,
We're
I have no
1
chance.
year old today.
Wow. 1 year's worth of shows.
It took like a year and a half to make 52 episodes.
Well, while we're on that topic, the next 2 weeks there will be no episodes.
Yeah. Well, we got Thanksgiving next week and a concert the following week.
Yeah, gotta go to my daughter's winter concert.
So that's a good reason. Maybe we could run something, Steve. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Can always start up the show and then let you guys do it.
We'll let you guys know on Twitter anyway. So just keep an eye out on Vin's Twitter account. We're at Word Agents, and he'll let you know. Also, order some content from Word Agents while you're checking out his Twitter.
We are so busy this month, but still send in those orders. I'll take them.
Don't order. You can't take any more business.
Yeah.
Order a couple of links instead, and then once
I'm
Vin's
pretty
got
sure Reach Creator is padding Vin's retirement fund this month. So
yeah, that's for sure. And I'm glad that we got that extra writer on your team. However many weeks ago.
I remember
you might want to add another one.
We need them.
Yeah.
I don't think we need this extra writer, Vin. Can we send you 100 articles we need in a couple of days, please?
Actually, as soon as the show's over, I got a delivery for you. Chris just sent it over. But yeah, I appreciate it.
We'll get another order ready tomorrow then, because we've definitely got one ready.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what?
100.
Guess what? The API is coming, boys.
Oh, that will make my life so much easier. Thank you.
So that's.
I mean, I know
Abby's still doing your work.
No, Abby got fired yesterday. Or mutually separated, but kind of fired. And we started moving towards working with Nick and his team.
Okay.
Valentin's eyes just lit up via chat. API for content orders? Yes, buddy.
Oh yeah, that's going to be amazing.
I guess we need to do a API for link orders too.
Huh? How would that even work? Like, we deliberately don't let people order their own links because they order crazy stuff. Like, well, I can't really say, but yeah, if you let people send in orders, then you have to send the money back a lot in links because what they want is pretty insane sometimes.
Well,
for our regular clients, I mean, I'm looking at how to smooth things, make things easier for our like regular ordering clients, but for them there's so little lag, because for our biggest clients that are ordering like 140 a month or something in links, we have a Trello board, so they just put their order on and I paste the link in like half an hour later or whatever. So
yeah, it's just going to be another option for clients, because every client wants to order differently.
right.
Some clients want me in their Trello board. Some clients want me in Basecamp. You know, Valentin wants a API. Some guys just want to order email spreadsheets. So
It's just a thing to do.
I can try to systemize and say no, that we only do it this one way, but that's not a great user experience. So I'm just trying to be as accommodating as possible.
What is this?
people get more bonuses and better deals if they speak to me though as well, because they can convince me that they're
well, thank you.
They can convince me that their link bait's good.
I got some ice cream.
Yeah.
Do you need a tip? Is that what you're waiting for? $1 American.
I'll take a free $1. If someone gave me $1 every time I brought them ice cream, they'd be fat as fuck in no time.
Valentin in the chat has a suggestion for the link building API. It says make different link packages and develop ordering through API, and then send back reports on where the link is live and publish date, etc. And then the report data also for the order also via the API.
Well, we are going to have probably not till the summer. We are going to have some kind of online reporting. We hope that because we have this GDPR nonsense to deal with over here, and we thought we'd found a supplier that could deal with the GDPR stuff for us, so that we could actually have European companies get their reports. But it turns out their solution isn't fully compliant.
Yeah.
Like
So I've
everybody
had to
else.
start. Yeah, like everybody else. So I've had to start again from scratch with that because.
So BB was telling me, I don't know if I told you guys this, but she has a friend that works in the British office, whatever that's handling GDPR.
The data protection.
Like the English department, not like the whole EU
Information Commissioner's Office.
Whatever it is, but BB said her friend told her everything is such a mess unless you are blatantly being a fucking asshole about it and you're asking to get fined. Nobody has anything to worry about. So I'm guessing.
I think though, when the supplier sent you an email saying we're not GDPR compliant, that's probably a problem for your audit trail.
Yeah. But you know what? We said this before it launched. There's absolutely no way for them to enforce this across the entire internet. It's just when somebody wants to get you, then they can go and target you. Kind of like a manual review with Google.
Exactly.
You know, mostly everybody's going to fly under the radar unless you trip that one tripwire, and then you're going to be fucked.
Well, you can just get unlucky. Like, say you're, like, take your new system. So you're having all this online ordering and stuff. Under GDPR, it just takes that to get hacked once, and you have massive legal responsibilities under disclosure. So you have to write and apologize to all your clients that there's been a hack. You have to identify the start and end date, affected customers. You have to give them the opportunity to put it right. So you have to offer them all things like free Experian, Credit Watch, or whatever. And if they have to freeze their credit, you have to pay for it. And you have to, like, BA's just gone through that hell because they had a hack.
So what about plausible deniability? What if you just never review your server? And even if you were hacked, but I never saw it. I never knew we were hacked. Or
inability to determine that information results in a bigger fine.
Hey, since we're talking about this, why don't you bring us through this Zero Hedge article for the ACTA? Because this seems even crazier.
Yeah, so we spoke about this a little while ago, and it looked like it was going to be stalled, but it seems like they've reignited this beautiful piece of legislation where you can't link to things without paying the person you link to.
Why?
Because a link breaches copyright now if this goes through. So. And obviously, this is just misguided legislation that's been lobbied for by, like, the music industry, the film industry, and the argument that people that ran, say, a site that found, like, where you could watch the latest sports for free, they would link to, oh, you know, this site has it, and they would say, well, we're not hosting the stream; these other guys are. We just linked to it. We're like a search engine for this. So they've argued, obviously, that well, we need to put a stop to that. Because, you know, they really are assisting piracy or whatever. But of course, the solution the European Union's come up with is that all linking should be paid if you link to anything. So if you link to something that's copyright, you have to pay the copyright holder for linking to it.
So I thought the most telling part in the article was how they referenced that Spain already did this in 2014, and they wanted any link from Google News to pay the publisher, right? So what Google did is they just removed Google News from Spain. So nobody's getting their money, and now there's no access to information.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's good for Google to be able to do that, but it's kind of hard if you're just trying to run a normal, like, website. Like, say, even if you're a researcher, so someone does a study.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You write a research paper. How do you not cite your sources?
Right.
Like, do you want to shut off the entire connection of people sharing information? Because no one's going to pay for it. It's just going to be anarchy.
Yeah. And if anything like this got rolled out in any kind of significant way in the EU, it would just get rolled back right away. Because, again, how do you enforce this?
You know.
Frozen Steve, do you have
He's really excited.
Let's just talk to Frozen Steve. Frozen Steve is awesome, man.
Yeah, man, he's such a nice guy. Nice and quiet.
There he goes. Yeah, it's crazy. The EU operates with this privacy shit and all this stuff. It's pretty scary for me.
Well, Valentin brings up a good point. Can you imagine the
Sorry,
backlog? Guys. Like, let's say they were going to enforce all this shit, the millions of websites. And there's, what, like a team of, like, 50 people trying to do this?
It would destroy the fucking world economy, man.
That's like, not how it works, though. Like, it doesn't work where the information commissioners are going to enforce it. What happens is ambulance chasing lawyers. You know, like with the images. And, you know, someone nicks an image. It's not, like, it's ambulance chasing lawyers. So if you can collect on these fines, so copyright holders are just going to hire a law firm, and law firms are just going to do it without even being hired by a copyright holder. They're just going to look at every link on the internet and send them all a letter demanding a fee. And if you don't pay the fee, they're going to take you to court. It's just going to result in just chaos. Like webmasters that have written a blog, like it's someone's personal blog and they've linked to something, but because they've got AdSense on it, it counts as a commercial site. So the lawyer's going to send them a letter saying you owe us €2,000, but we'll settle now for $450, and people are just going to have to pay it or go to court. Just like with the images, it's going to result in extortion, all kinds of just insanity. And normal people don't even know this law is going on. So people writing their blogs, running their hobby sites, no one even knows this shit's going on.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I hope it's like the images, because just like Valentin just said, who's going to take it to court for $100 or even $400? It's not even worth an hour of the lawyer's time. So what they're doing is they're just hoping, just like the image letters that you get, they hope that you just pay the settlement request without, because as like a fear-mongering tactic. Because, most people who aren't as savvy as like maybe us, they might get scared off by a letter and then just insta-pay it. And I'm sure a good percentage of those letters get paid right away without, Well,
the problem if you don't pay it is they fuck your credit up, because they'll just put a quick small claims court thing in. Suddenly you've got a €450 default on your credit file. You can't even get a mobile phone.
Well, I mean, or you can just like take the image down, like instantly, and then it's satisfied.
Yeah, that doesn't work. They don't go away if you do that. Oh, they take, like, if you took the image down.
Then we might have some legal issues against us.
With the image thing, if you take it down after you receive the letter, the courts have considered that to be. This is in America. The courts have considered that to be
admission of guilt. Yeah.
Yeah, you received the letter. So what most people are recommending, and this isn't legal advice, I'm not a lawyer, blah blah blah. What most people recommended is you ignore the letter and you definitely don't take the image down, because if you respond to the letter, they know they've got you, so they can follow up. I noticed you've taken the image down.
Well, what if you don't respond to the email or the letter and you take the image down? There's no proof you ever saw that letter.
If you take the image down straight after, like I say, it's
there is reasonable doubt you never saw that letter. I just took the image down.
It's a civil case. Unless you have a really expensive lawyer, there's no reasonable doubt.
Any lawyer is just going to walk in and tell a judge, "You have no evidence my client ever read that letter," and the judge would be like, "Do you have proof?" And the guy would say, "No." Because if he had any tracking,
that's not what happened when it went to an actual court. So.
I doubt that those $100 hit letters ever go to court or ever have. I don't.
Well, no, it was a big case. The site had a lot of images. Yeah,
back when we had clients get those letters, and we just told them to take the image down. So I don't know what's happened since now and 5 years ago.
Oh no, one of our clients paid them because they'd stolen the image. They phoned them up and they offered to settle for $50, so they just paid them the $50. They got a letter demanding $2,000. I just told them, look, you just phone them up and offer them like some amount. And the chap just rang up and he's like, I'll give you $50. And they were like, yeah, fine. And that was that. I mean, he only stole one image by me. Well, he didn't even steal it. Like some intern that worked there stole an image. But yeah, like if it's a lot of images, and they actually, but yeah, you're not going to end up in court over one image, and they will settle for $50 or something. But I just mean like some people are going to have like 50,000 infringing links and a total fine of like 300,000 that they owe. They're going to go to court for that, the ambulance chasing lawyer, because they've only going to get one of those to stick, and they're getting their 50% commish for 3 hours of a lawyer's time in court, aren't they? It's a nice easy win for them.
Well, I'll be interested to see how this pans out over however many months ahead of us.
Well, the good news for us is that Brexit is stay-in-zit. So we're going to stay in the customs union. We're going to stay under the authority of the European Court. It's a great Brexit. That's definitely what we all voted for over there.
Sounds like normal politics.
Yeah. So we're going to get this bad boy.
Something to keep an eye on, too, is California passed a law in the state of California that's very similar to GDPR, and they're trying to make it...
It's worse. It's worse,
yeah. And they're trying to make that a federal thing now. But there's like no talk about it in America for some reason. I wonder why. But if that gets passed, then I can see things being worse in America because America.
Yeah, all of you guys, to repeat Nigel Farage when he went to the European Union and said, you all told me when I said we were going to leave the European Union that I was a fool and you laughed at me. Well, you're not laughing now after the Brexit vote. All of the Americans that laughed at us in Europe over GDPR, well, you're not laughing now thanks to California.
I wish they would just leave the country already. They keep saying they're going to do it. It's like all the people that said when Trump got elected, we're going to leave the country. None of them did. Just leave. You guys are insane. Just leave. Anyways.
California is pretty insane. It's like Europe times 80 on the insanity scale.
It's like one state deciding the fate of the country.
It's how they would like it. They want like 470 electoral college votes, I think.
Yeah, they have quite a bit as it is. Anyways, there was a thread that started last week on Builder Society by Ryzaki. This individual, like a lot of other people, have noticed quite a bit of volatility in the SERPs for whatever reason, and Ryzaki thought it might be for overweighing freshness. Rank brain was all of a sudden getting way too much weight, and the algorithm. And
I don't know. I don't know if it's volatility or if it's just there's things that just don't make any sense. Like there's SERPs that, in my niche at least, there's one site for a keyword I'm going after. It's a 2-year-old website. They never did any link building. They didn't do any custom changes to their theme. They put up some half-assed content, and it's like a 0 domain authority, and it's ranking on the first page ahead of me.
Are they using a PBN, or did you look?
I looked. There's no links to the page. There's just no.
Well, you won't see that on Ahrefs and stuff. You have to
I ran multiple tools just to see, and then I run my my little search operators to pull up any links that Google finds too, and there was no link building whatsoever.
Okay.
It was just like it was obviously like a newbie site that they dipped their toe in the water, and then they abandoned it. But now it's on the first page for a semi-competitive term, and it's just horrible content, no links, and it's stuck there right now. And I can't get my page past spot 12. So yeah, so there's some strategies people are using to unstick pages like that from spots like 10 to 15 that I'm going to try, but it just sucks because the algorithm.
Is that your don't tweet this for the end?
No, Diggity did a case study, and it's actually something that I was working on. So I'm just going to follow his case study and see if it works. But it just sucks that the algorithm is giving valuable traffic to a site that doesn't even matter and isn't even active. And I'm actively trying to rank this page and spending money to do so, and I can't get it to crack. So I'm just kind of venting there. But
So, a guy I know named Tom Spigliari did a little case.
That's him. That's the case that I'm talking about.
Yeah, he did the case. Oh, he was an authority builder. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess you read the article. Tom's super smart dude. He's mentioned a few things that he's been doing to get unstuck, such as sticking or going after some feature snippets. Maybe Google's all of a sudden weighing those very heavily, the way just the layout of your page. Because I've noticed that on like the skincare site, on pages that I don't have any markup on, no schema, no nothing, if I just have questions and answers formatted in tables or lists, all of a sudden we're picking up tons of featured snippets, and if the page wasn't ranking well organically, if the snippet hits, all of a sudden organic comes with it. And even
or maybe both just happen at the same time.
It's very possible because
the site's growing so quickly.
The other end of the stick. At the other end of the stick, I also have pages that outrank featured snippets on their own, and they don't get any featured snippets. So it's.
Well, we'll get those snippets. It's fine.
Yeah. It's just interesting. I don't have a definitive thing, but it kind of makes sense to me that might happen. If Google thinks you're authoritative to have the snippet, I can see it on one hand that you might get an organic bump, but on the other hand, I have organic rankings that outweigh the snippets, but I can't get a snippet. So I don't know. I'm kind of like in the middle on it, but it does seem plausible.
I do think that having lots of stats help. In my niche specifically, there's no stats in any of those, in any of the snippets that I'm targeting. It's just your list items and the cost of the items in the list item, and that's what seems to be showing up in the featured snippets. So I think that I can't really steal it from the site that has the most of them, because they just have more authority than I do at this point.
Yeah, it's really hard to diagnose things anyway on growing sites because you're doing like 18 different things at once. So you start picking up some snippets, your rankings are going up anyway, you've added 100, it's hard to say, oh, this one thing is suddenly making us get snippets because a month ago the site had 25% less links.
Yeah,
pages are moving up anyway. It's really hard to diagnose against specific changes or specific things that are going on. I haven't personally noticed any more than usual. I mean, we always notice some nonsense results doing well for no good reason. I don't think it's like this thread makes it seem like it's suddenly become some kind of apocalypse where you search something on Google and it's like Alta Vista back in the day where you search for something mainstream and you get porn in position 7. Like I don't think it's anywhere near that bad, just from because I've been trying to make a point of using Google a bit more because we do the show and I always use DuckDuckGo, and normally I've been trying to use Google a bit more and it seems fine. I don't think I've ever gone to a SERP when I've done a search and thought, Jesus, what the fuck is this piece of shit doing?
That's the thing, personally, like I use Google for my search engine. I just don't care. I tend to find the information I want quickly and easily. And I do understand that some of these people are seeing like really fucked up SERPs every once in a while, but I don't know if they're outliers. Obviously, it's very easy to have hundreds of thousands of outliers in a data set that is trillions of data points deep.
Yeah. Well, he's also saying that he's seeing EMDs and partial match domains ranking again, and they're shitty websites, and it's probably because of the relevance factor for rank range. And then there's like this cycle where once you get into the top 3 and you're getting all that juicy traffic, then the traffic is sending positive user metrics back to Google, and it's keeping you in the top 3. So it's like once you're there, it's almost impossible to drop because you're getting the user metrics that you can only get in the top 3, and that way you stay in the top 3. So
well, they know what's average. They know what's average for the top 3 though. So So if one of them was genuinely terrible, eventually it'll drop because it just won't be performing the way Google would expect a number 3 listing, for example, to perform. So, and you know, like I know I rip on Rand a lot. Like he has done some cool tests over the years, and one of the tests around user behavior and the click through and stuff, they were able to show that it does have it has a short-term horizon. Like if you have a really good week at click through, that's going to wear off really quickly, but also it does have an impact. And if it's permanent, you're always getting good click through, you're going to stay there. Like Ben said, you're going to be locked in because you're getting the metrics you can only get from being there. But if the page is terrible, everyone's bouncing back and clicking something else immediately, it's not getting clicks as much because the title, the excerpt doesn't make any sense. It's not what people are looking for. It's going to drop pretty quickly because it's not going to be getting the metrics that, right. You know, if number 4 is the perfect result and number 3 is terrible, they're going to swap in a fairly short time horizon. So I think people panic too much about stuff. I mean, I'm guessing from his post, he's had a pretty rough couple of months.
I've been talking to him. I think he's just a little angry about his site not moving as fast as he wanted to be, but I agree with a lot of the points.
Well, I'm going to be doing a big test, like on that thread. You know, I had talked to Ryu personally about using an author name. We've talked about it, I think, the last couple of weeks, and we have one site, the UK-based private health insurance site, that is doing just fantastically awful.
Yeah.
It's been recovered from a penalty from like 2 years. It's cleaned up. I need to fix some on-site stuff on it, but I'm hopeful that putting an author profile on it will help. And I think it'll be a really easy test.
Well, are you going to use your face, or are you going to build a persona?
I think I'm just going to throw my name on it.
Yeah. For me, I don't want my name on any of my sites.
Like that's
well, you can just build a persona. I mean, because it's completely legit.
Well, actually, I take that back. I'm not going to put my name on it. One of our writers is going to be on it.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Whoever wants credit for writing.
Yeah, I forgot. I figured this out last night. What I was going to do.
The problem with the persona is they're pretty much just using their authorship algorithm to look at that name and go compare it to if there's a LinkedIn profile, if there's a Twitter profile, if there's a Facebook profile, and if there's not.
But real authors who use a persona to write all their books, they build all those things for their persona. So what you mean is you just have to have a good persona, not just make up a fake person.
Well, yeah. So that brings me into
what it your real pen
in my head, from a fundamental point of view, does it necessarily matter if you have a real author's name on the web page versus nothing? And is Google just taking the easy way out and saying, we're just going to put a small amount of weight, or maybe a medium amount of weight, on having an author's name on this because it's an easy way for us to filter out bullshit? And yeah, some people are going to get fucked because there's great content out there that doesn't have an author's name on it. But there's also great content out there with names on it and everything in between. So, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I think if you have a site where everything's posted under admin, there's no proper contact method. There's just a form. There's no phone number. There's no email. There's no information about who's behind the site.
So what combination of things does this start to take place in?
Well, you can read the Google, their quality tester guidelines. They get leaked every year.
Yeah. So
I mean, that kind of
John would say that's on the show. This is relatively simple UI stuff, like really somewhat basic stuff that Google's looking for that's not really talked about. But John made up a big point in private last week about Florida. Who knows what the Google Florida update was back in 2003? The great filter of internet. You know, like really basic stuff that's starting to come through again. Or at least I think.
Well, Ryan Zaki also in a in reply to that thread, shared this article, which I'm posting in the chat here, about Google's neural matching algorithm, where, in short, it's basically Google is still ranking web pages using the same old metrics that we're all used to. But then once you're into that bucket of, okay, we're going to rank this page, that rank brain comes in again and then reorganizes that set of documents. And that is the result we're actually seeing right now.
Well, that makes sense, though, because they're trying to make it answer what people have typed in without them needing to be, you know, like you used to type really dumb things into Google, like you had to change the order. I've noticed going back to using Google that you don't have to type as many weird queries in to get what you want.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's some stuff, they definitely aren't as sophisticated as they're pretending to be, and we spoke about this last week.
And I think, Steve, I think that's it. I think that they're just, I think that's all it is. I think that they are letting on that they had this huge AI revolution, and now it can understand anything, but it really can't. And I think that all the volatility we're seeing is them split testing variables to see what works best, and they haven't zoned in on that yet.
Well, I'll give you an example search query. So we were trying to find out, you know, how companies that buy air miles to give them as rewards to their clients buy them. And you try as many searches as you want on Google, all you'll get is travel review blogs trying to make you sign up for air miles credit cards. There's literally no way to get Google to... after like 27 searches, I found United's page. United, your page is broken at 404s. United's page about corporate partners buying air miles. Other than that, nothing. Just loads and loads and loads of people like, here's the best air miles credit cards. Here's how you buy air miles for your personal use. It doesn't understand the question at all. I think they've trained it to understand certain common public questions, and they've got a few party tricks, like you can type in what's the movie with the dog or something stupid and it comes up with the right, you know, they've got their party trick pieces. It's like they're like a magician, and they've got lots of sleight of hand, and they can convince a few unsophisticated SEOs who will then go to a conference and be like, do this amazing search about the movie, look how smart Google is. You search for something that's difficult and niche, and Google doesn't understand a fucking word you've just typed in. Other than the fact that air miles is in there. You must want some air mile review blogs, right? Here you go. You have the points guy.
And you know what? I mean, I'm just scrolling through Twitter looking for this shit, and Cyrus Shepard just tweeted something 2 days ago. Took a screenshot of a search for rhinoplasty Plano, Texas.
Oh.
And the number 2 result was rhinoplastyplano.co.
Yeah, it's all lorem ipsum.
It's a website full of lorem ipsum content.
Yeah, so last summer in the SEO Signals Lab group on Facebook, they did a competition who could rank the fastest and the best, or whatever the time period was. And I think this is the owner of Page Optimizer Pro. He just released a post yesterday about how he did it. And yeah, so it leads you to some assumptions. We were just talking about this last night, I think. Google is still horrendous at doing what it's supposed to do, but in some cases it is really good. And you know, who's to say, like, no, I didn't bother looking at the site if they did any link building really quick or anything. Like, I don't know, I think the guy claims he didn't, but to say that, what's that called, Quora, and in combination with Page Optimizer Pro, that you can just write lorem ipsum at 10,000 times and have a keyword density of 6.9%, or whatever the fuck it recommends for that niche. I don't know.
On a side note, that group is actually pretty good. I thought it was another just spammy group, but there's actually knowledgeable people.
That's definitely the best one. Stephen King does a great job moderating it. He has a lot of good moderators that keep it clean. They do a lot of cool stuff.
I see Andrew in there all the time. He's like kind of similar to me, at least, with him doing all of his on-page optimization and topical relevant stuff. So
that's where we met for PubCon.
Yeah, he's a nice kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm just gonna sit and wait and kind of see how everything shakes out, because to me, it just kind of seems like the algorithm is in turmoil right now, and whatever's going on right now might not be the same thing that's going on in 6 months from now.
Yeah, a lot of the times, whenever they've made a mistake before, and I'm not saying they've made a mistake this time or not, like I think there's certain keywords where some of you guys are seeing some stuff that's pretty bad, but across the board, maybe it's an on average improvement and they won't roll it back. But when they have made a mistake, they've tended to roll a fix out pretty quickly. So, and there's no question that Google results now compared with 10 years ago are better. And search results now compared to 20 years ago.
I've also
better,
seen people making arguments that they are split testing a certain percent of queries, maybe like 1.5% of all queries that are somewhat difficult or maybe even irrelevant, or they fall underneath an umbrella where they're split testing different things that they're doing in-house. And obviously no one has really any hard data on it or anything. It's just like an intuitive type, we're just going to throw some shit at the fan and it's going to show us something, whatever they think they're going to learn from it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've just seen people talk about it. I've never really looked into it, or, I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I think it makes sense if they're going to take into account like how users behave, like what Vin was talking about before. If you have like the top 10 and most users either click the ads or the top 3, they're only getting limited data then from if they show everyone the same top 10. And we know they don't show everyone the top 10, obviously, because there's been loads of personalization. But as a general concept, if most people see approximately the same top 10, they're getting so much less data than if they want to try 2 totally different approaches and they split test it and they can see that, wait a minute, when this site's at number 3, it performs average, but if we move it down to number 5, it's performing way better than we'd expect. They can get some useful information out of that kind of split test. And it can be 2 totally different algorithms that are sourcing them that way. And they can, over the huge amount of data they've got, obviously that would let you score the 2 different algorithms based on user satisfaction, which might not affect your search results in the short term because they're not going to change the core algorithm based on just one quick split test. But in the long term, it's going to influence the direction that they go developing their future algorithms and what gets rolled into the core for the future. So it makes a lot of sense for them to be doing that kind of split test because it gets them way more data about things they're trying, whether it's working or not. So, I mean, we don't know that they're definitely doing it, but if it makes a lot of sense to be doing it, why wouldn't they be?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of smart people there. So if we can figure out that would be a good idea, you'd imagine they've tried it at least. If we went this way with the algorithm, what would that look like in terms of how happy people are with the results?
Yeah, but I think that the point is, in the interim, it's pretty shitty to deal with, and a lot of people are losing money, and it just sucks.
Well, you're not losing money.
Has anyone done any or collected any data on these niches or areas that are super affected by turmoil for whatever reason? Are they in areas that are constantly like hit up by like affiliate sites? Is this? I think what's happening now, personally, I think it's separate from what happened in the Medic update and what happened in September, and now the stuff we're seeing now is different. I could be wrong, but if they're chasing, like, or maybe it's chasing down like 1% of SERPs that no one cares about, or they're just going to let fuck around. I don't know.
Well, what I've seen, again, we're looking at really small sample sizes because I'm looking at like 20 niches or whatever that I'm happen to be interested in. What I'm seeing though is a continuation of, we spoke about this 6 months ago, roughly on the show, maybe 5 months ago. We were seeing like affiliate sites that just do these constant best, and that's all they publish. they started to run into some trouble 5 months ago. I think a lot of the more recent updates are punishing those people harder. I think you need to have way more other signals to a page that's just another best page, because I think it's pretty obvious. If you were like, Garrett was swearing about it on the show, I don't know, like one of our early shows, like how pissed off he was. He was trying to pick a laptop, and there's all these fucking review sites, and no one's even tried the laptop. They've just put up an SEO page about best laptop reviews, and they've just put the stats from the manufacturer up and a link to buy it on Amazon. There's no information there. There's no review. There's no nothing. And that's not a good user experience for Google's customer, who is the searcher. And if it's a bad experience for the searcher, it's not a good experience for Google's main customer, the advertiser, because if people know when they search best XYZ, they're going to get shit. They're not going to search that.
We're going to go somewhere else, and then Google's not going to sell ads, and then Google's out of business.
Yeah. So I think Garrett was kind of onto something with that rant, and I think I've definitely seen people who are over bestie, and it's not just the word best. I don't want you to take it that if you have a couple of best something posts, you should change. It's that just anything that's a similar, the same word, that kind of post has definitely been punished in the few niches that I'm looking at.
Well, let me say this. I have one of those posts up on my site, and just one. And it's the best performing page on my site.
Yeah,
but the caveat is,
you're not going to trigger a filter if you have one of them.
No,
if your whole
that's
site
my point.
is, yeah.
The caveat is that it's because that it's one post. It's that post for the topic, but I also have all the other information for the topic as well, right?
Yeah.
So I have individual reviews for the products. I have information articles about the topic. I have a big hub page for the topic. So I'm covering the topic comprehensively, and I'm giving that one page its time in the limelight, because that's part of the topic. There needs to be a list that lists all the best options in this category.
10 years ago, I wrote a piece, and Garrett still has it, apparently. I've long since lost it, about how to write the perfect article on a topic. And it was all, you got to cover all the semantically related phrases. If you're talking about wine, it comes from grapes. The word grape should be in there. And just building up that overall picture.
Wine ends up in a bottle, so bottle should be mentioned.
Bottle should be, exactly.
At some point it ferments.
But I think Google's moved on from that. That was 10 years ago, a piece of deep thought that I did around what they would like in the future. I think what people are forgetting is their site as a whole now, Google can analyze, and they give you hints in Webmaster Tools. What do they call it now? It's not called Webmaster Tools now. They Search Console. Yeah. They give you clues in Search Console. They say, here are 10 keywords we think that your site's about. But Google's trying to understand what your site's about generally. If you just do best, and you review 100 laptops that way, Google doesn't think your site's about how to choose a laptop. Google doesn't think your site's about what's the difference between different processors that might be in your laptop. Google doesn't think your site's about battery life and how you... It doesn't think your site's about any of those things at all. It just thinks your site's about best XYZ. And that's such a narrower... It's like a keyword... So before, we got... When keyword stuffing got screwed over originally...
Screwed over.
You couldn't have a page... You couldn't just rank a page by stuffing the keyword on there anymore. You had to make a page that was well-rounded. And that's why 10 years ago I wrote that piece for our writers. Now you can't, best XYZ stuff your site. You can't keyword stuff your site. Your site has to have that depth, that knowledge, that extra information. And I think that's why the stuff that Garrett's building for us is doing so well, because we don't concern ourselves with... we're really looking to just add value and write good articles about topics that are to do with the niche, and then we throw the odd monetized page in that might be, best pimple on penis detector.
I was just talking to.
That's a money keyword, guys. Get on the pimple on penis.
I was just
A
speaking.
lot of guys have a pimple on their penis, apparently.
I was just speaking to the guys at Market News right before the show, and they were telling me kind of like how enterprise companies go attack a topic. And what they do is they use the Market News algorithm to find all the keywords for the topic. And then they basically map all those keywords to different articles. And then they're buying 500 articles at once just to comprehensively cover the topic. So that supports basically what you're saying, Steve. And especially if big corporations are doing this, maybe us SEO guys should take a page out of their book and, not just create money pages, but create content that supports the money page.
If your site's all money pages, your site is a keyword stuffed article from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like your site has to have good stuff on it as well. And I think it's advice I've given, and Garrett's given loads of people this year that have asked us before they've started working with us, other than links, what should we do with our site? And we've said to so many people, you need to have some cognizance of, like Matt Cutts talks about this so long ago now, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that. He showed examples of good affiliate sites and bad affiliate sites. And a good affiliate site is something like, the points guy. Like, he's obviously wants to push his fucking credit cards, but all of his articles, you could actually just go on his homepage. Almost all the articles they put out are just general news and travel information and things that people who are interested in travel are interested in. And the occasional article is, oh, I finally got the Chase Sapphire Preferred card. Let me review it. Yeah, that's like one in 100 articles. People's ratios of money pages to.
And he's showing how that card generally benefited his life, and it's not just I'm using this card and here are the features, here are the specs, and here's how you get it.
And then his next post is another card. It's like people's ratios are way out of whack. They're like 80%. Here's the next card. Here's the next card. Here's the next card.
Well, yeah. So last year,
and they do one blog post.
I had the idea to start that website, GarrettOnLife.com, and I have one post on there. It's a shitty site. The idea was to just do honest reviews, because you guys all know I get really pissed off about review sites, and only review stuff I've used, stuff that I've paid for. If they gave it to me for free, obviously at some point I would say I got it for free, but I would be brutally honest about it. The only article I have on there is my flight from Minneapolis to London last April. So I have failed at actually building that site, but it's like.
Yeah, well, that was just going to be a bit of fun for you to rant about stuff.
Well,
I keep telling you should do videos, because you should do a YouTube channel instead.
Yeah,
you're right.
I
feel like your rants come across really pretty.
Well, that's the thing. I can't be typing them out. If I just went on the camera for 5 minutes and then paid someone to transcribe them,
I'd subscribe to Garrett on Life on YouTube. That would be one of my evening watches with a glass of wine to see what you were angry with that day. I think you should get a YouTube channel.
One of our bigger clients that orders a ton of reviews from us, we had a challenge with them over the past 2 weeks, and that is that they said our content wasn't appealing to the target audience of each review well enough. So me and Chris went to the drawing board, and we kind of had to rebuild their templates. And we basically said, how do we appeal to the target audience, not being part of the target audience, and also not actually using these products that we're reviewing? So we came down to 3 points. Before we write anything, we look at the products we're reviewing, and we ask ourselves, who is this for? What is their issue, and how does this product resolve their issue? And just creating that little buyer persona just for each article, it completely shifted our perception of what information we needed to share within the review. And I showed it to my client, and on the first delivery after that, it was night and day. They were happy again. And you could see it, because if I'm cell phones for seniors, if I'm just saying this is a cell phone for senior, it's got apps, it's got this cool feature, not many seniors are going to buy it. But if
they don't want apps, they want no apps.
Yeah,
I was actually talking to a senior today who very much misses his Nokia 3310. He's angry that phones have any features other than phoning and texting. And even texting, he saw us a negative feature on his Nokia.
Yeah. So if I talk about features that appeal to them, like large text or extra loud ringtones or anything like that, that's going to appeal to their taste much better, and hopefully will improve conversion rate too for the client.
I think this speaks to what Garrett's original point was about people not using the things, not understanding the things. Like I was away last night and this morning doing some keyword research for one of our sites. And people are gonna be like, what do you mean you were away doing keyword research? So I went to an industry conference for one of our sites in their niche, booked myself on, and stayed at the hotel, got up in the morning, went for their breakfast, and sat down with people who work in that industry day in, day out. And that's how I've done our keyword research for the year for that site.
Yeah, these are people that don't do SEO, they don't do internet marketing, they do the
job. Yeah.
Yeah,
they do the job. Like, what are their customers struggling with? What information do they need? That's where my keyword research has come from. None of them are keywords that have come up on Ahrefs, SERP, any of that bullshit. What's the legal changes in your industry? What challenges are coming this year? What are innovators? What are the innovative product providers in the industry bringing out? That's how you do keyword research. You get on the train, you go to industry conferences in your industry, it's easy for like the points guy and stuff because they're going to review, like they travel all the time for their because they love to travel and they get it for free because people click on credit card links and they get the points as well. But if you're not in a niche where you're that close to the products and you're that close to get in amongst the people who are, do the real keyword research. Vince said, talk to actual seniors and understand what apps, like an iPhone is useless to a senior because they don't want any of these fucking apps in the first place. They want something like you top 10 phones for seniors. If you've got an iPhone on the list at number 1, you're probably missing what they really want.
Yeah. And that's why sites like Quora are so helpful because you can go and see what people are actually asking. And if there's a common question that you've never even touched upon on your website, but if the question's asked 20 times on Quora, you're pretty stupid for not, taking that into account. And back in the day, also, what I would do is I would go buy old used textbooks for my niche, and I would look at the index for keywords.
Oh.
So that helps too.
I like that.
Yeah, so you can get textbooks on Amazon or all these reseller sites for like $1 or $2. They don't even have to be current. They could be from 5 years ago. Yeah. And you could go find jargon words and terminology that the industry uses in the index or the glossary or whatever you want to call it in the back of the textbook. And just even if there's no search volume, just searching for those keywords will bring up new websites that you can reverse engineer. They'll bring up just.
Well, that's the thing. None of the things I discovered today have. I've looked according to like any of the keyword tools. There's no search volume for any of these things, but it's all of the inquiries, all of the work, all of these businesses are doing. It's everything these huge companies are developing new products to satisfy.
I will say that
but
entire
there's no
site,
data on it yet.
The tools all say there's less than 1,000 for every single keyword we target. There's less than 1,000, which obviously isn't true. Like, that's just how far off they are.
Yeah. Oh, it's a huge industry. The newest player in that industry, literally the smallest of the big companies that service the industry, did 300 million last year. But according to Google, there's no search volume. But
Yeah,
so
but-
if you were outside following all these niche site builder type training courses, you're looking for where's the money, where's the keywords, where's the search traffic, you'll just overlook this industry that Garrett and I are in. I know it makes money because I've got experience with it, but you go and investigate it properly at an industry conference. I think that's the kind of commitment you should have to, if you're going to spend the next 2 years of your life building a big authority site. You can't spend 2 days just getting on a train or a plane. How much does an economy flight to another city cost? Like, I mean, $100 return. Night in a cheap hotel. I mean, I spent $100 in the hotel I stayed in.
Yeah. It's the same money you would spend at the pub on the weekend, just blowing your money away.
There's no cost, but we're going to spend next year taking this site seriously. So we wanted to get ourselves ready for next year. So we took it seriously, and we took a couple of days to go and find out what's really going on in the industry. And I think people jump into it based on tools, data, bullshit. Like, you can find loads of opportunities and tools that don't exist in real life, and then you've just wasted 2 years. Or you can go and actually do some real work. I'm in danger of joining Garrett on his favorite real work rant, but like, it just, if you're going to commit 2 years to something, at least make sure that you understand what the issues are and where the money is.
Yeah.
People that are doing 300 million a year, what they're focusing on is probably the bit of the industry that you want to be focusing on as well. Not what Ahrefs tells you has a bit more keyword traffic. Because where's the money? The money's where the 300 million for the new guy is. Not, I mean, we won't make 300 million because we're going to be like, like an affiliate, so an intermediary in the industry. The money's made by the people that do the product. You only ever get your 10% or whatever as an affiliate. But I would love, I'd quite happily have a few percentage points of that.
For sure. That's funny that you, I didn't know that you were one to that conference, because Mike and I think we're going to go to our industry conference. It's in May, Toronto. I haven't been up to Toronto in a long time, so it's going to be the same thing.
It's such an easy trip for you guys from
yeah. So
I mean, there you go. Just by complete accident, Vin's doing exactly the same thing with his main affiliate site.
Yeah, for us it's a little different. It's our competitors display there, so we're doing a little competition research, but it's the only conference for our industry. So if we plant our roots there, so to speak, we're just it'll help us grow big time.
No, I just think that's really cool that like all of us are thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
But a lot of people watching this aren't thinking the same thing. And I know all of these people that are posting on the forums that we review every week and stuff. None of them have been to an industry conference ever, except the guys that do tech reviews, because obviously they all go to what's the one in January in Vegas? Everyone goes to that. Like
Consumer electronics.
Consumer electronics, yeah. Like everyone goes to that just because they love the gadgets, but that's kind of different because you're not getting any education out of it. You're just wandering around looking at gadgets and having a good time in Vegas. Like if it's more of a boring niche, people who are trying to do stuff in boring niches, they aren't taking it seriously enough. They just think they've found an opportunity, and then they're like, oh, I'm capped at this point. I can't figure out how to break through. These shit sites are ahead of me, all this kind of bollocks. It's like you just aren't digging deep enough and understanding it enough.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like they moved it. I'm not going to Toronto. I'm going to New Orleans.
Oh,
nice. That'll
be Mardi Gras.
Yeah, that's even better for me. I'll take it.
Yeah, that'll be nice. Cool. Good food, good drink.
Maybe I'll have to come down for
that.
Garrett's going to come down even though we've got nothing to do with it.
I've been I think I can hit platinum on Delta in 2019.
Yeah,
it's gonna require a couple of random flights. So I mean,
at this point, I'm probably flying at least 10 times next year. So it's 10 round trip flights.
Mine's getting pretty out of hand now as well.
yeah. But are you really coming out to hang out with me in the summer?
Which one was that?
Garrett.
Yeah. When you open up your restaurant, yeah.
Yeah. All right, sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, when is it though? Because I might.
Yeah, I suppose Vin's never told anybody on the show, but he's opening up a restaurant.
We're still doing like all of our permit stuff and everything, but that'll be late spring, early summer.
Yeah, because you're like, whenever I'm in like Southampton, Pennsylvania, you're like an hour away or whatever.
Yeah, dude. When you go to Pennsylvania, you should just come up to New York, man. Now that we know each other pretty well, you know, I don't know how much is going on. Well, you got family down there, right?
Yeah. And business and all sorts. Yeah, so it's always a busy time, but I can come up for a day or something. Well, and like other trips, I can come in to see you first, and then get the Amtrak down to Trenton.
That Amtrak is such a nice ride, man. $50 business class.
Yeah,
you're a brave man. Don't people die on that thing all the time?
No.
Oh, that'd be ridiculous, man. Like. Jesus Christ. That would be like refusing to get in a 737 MAX because some pilot pitched it into the ocean. It's like the plane's fine. I mean, it's just like that was Boeing's defense. It was like Boeing actually made a good point. They were like, we had this emergency system in place, but no pilot should have ever thrown it that way. So we didn't anticipate someone would be like pitching it up like that. So.
I think wrapping up this thread here, you know, I think everything's in flux right now. And I think that if you're always building great content, comprehensively covering a topic and building great links, in the long run, you'll probably do well.
Well, I mean, I challenged someone on LinkedIn. They never responded to me because it was one of these idiots going on about, oh, I'm going to do... you know, links don't matter anymore. What do you guys think? Kind of nonsense. I was like, well, do this experiment. Build a site that has amazing content and don't promote it. Build a site that has shit, cheap content and build 100 links to it. We all know which one ranks, like without doing the test. It's the site with links. Well, we know it because that's how we build our affiliate sites. We start a new site and we put all the amazing content up to get a base ready to start promoting.
Sure.
And then start pitching it and building links. And during that first phase, you get no traction at all. Nothing even shows up on Ahrefs in the top 100. Nothing happens at all.
Yeah.
You start building links, you rank. Shitter content with more links will outrank really good content with. But there's a crossover where if the content is shit below a certain point, you're crippled. And if the links are shit below a certain point, you're crippled. But just having more... I always think there's like a precipice, there's a cliff. And if the cliff's on the right, you just want to be left of the cliff by as much as you can on both content quality and link quality. And if you can just stay way left of the cliff, you're ahead. You don't need to be way over the fuck here where you've got the best fucking content written by like some PhD who's been to Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, and then went back to MIT to do a little brush up. But if you're near the cliff, you'll be the first that are caught when the cliff moves. Because I feel like the cliff is just constantly moving on the quality front.
Yeah,
you have to stay left of the cliff.
I think a lot of affiliates, oftentimes, they think that they just have to dig deeper and find facts and stats that their competitors don't have and include them somehow in the content. But at the end of the day, and a lot of times for these stupid niches that a lot of affiliates go into, there's only so much information to talk about anyway. So
best crossbows, to use our favorite joke example, because it was someone on Builder Society. I wish I could remember his user handle so I could credit him. Someone on Builder Society used that as like a joke niche to kind of mark, like, best crossbow for killing birds, best crossbow for if that's your site, you're fucked.
Yeah, but it's even dumber than that. Some of the niches I see, it's like a website on doorknobs. And then all they do is they do product reviews on doorknobs and send people to Home Depot or Lowe's.
Doorknobguru.org.
Yeah, a $20 doorknob that you're making 50 cents off of. And who the fuck's actually buying a doorknob?
Well, no, we're talking about stupid niches like that and how the affiliate competition tries to outdo one another with more detailed content. But how detailed can you get about a doorknob? So my point being is,
whereas a good site about doorknobs would be talking about design trends, but you're not going to discover any of those keywords. There's nothing
They'd probably be talking about locksmithing between that.
Yeah. There's nowhere in Ahrefs tells you to talk about that stuff.
Well, that's why
There's
like
nowhere
90% of affiliates are fucking shitty, and the SEO revolving door continues to spin.
Yeah, and that's, well, I mean, there's like again, like Market News. Market News is trying to solve that problem, but they're running into their own challenges, trying to find related topics and complementary topics that need to be involved. It's rough, man. You just gotta use your head and do things like we were saying. Go to the conference, learn what real people with their boots on the ground are doing. Just don't. People are so reliant, especially in the affiliate world, on these tools that I think now they're boxing themselves out from actually earning money.
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly,
because in the short, go on, Garrett.
I mean, what tools do you really need? A rank tracker, you can get those cheap. They're a dime a dozen now. It's 2018 going into 2019. All the rank trackers pretty much do the same exact thing. Some are way cheaper. And like keyword research, like we've already discussed, there's ways to do it way better outside the tools anyways. Tools are helpful, don't get me wrong, but I see on the Facebook groups people are spending like, Steve and I, we spend $1,000 a month on tools or whatever. Especially after last year when we cut down with Ahrefs, like, I don't know, like, unless you're big, I don't know how you're affording to spend $1,000 or more on tools every month. That's got to eat into your profit.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah,
we used to spend like $5,000. That was fine for us, but like
I'm much happier with it being under $1,000 now.
Well, I'm not
gonna lie. I feel
that's
like
a couple grand a month.
Some tools out.
It's a couple grand a month straight into our pockets that we don't use on tools, and it's like we're bigger than most people out there. So it's like, why are you guys spending so much money on tools? It's like you don't need to. Use common sense and think about stuff, and it might take an extra hour, and you might need to like smoke a cigarette or chew some gum or whatever you need to do. But
well, I mean, I honestly think a good writer thinking deeply about a topic will get you better keyword research and that's why I wrote that guide 10 years ago, because I don't think the tool gives you the semantically related phrases. It doesn't give you the deep understanding of a topic that someone just spending a couple of hours thinking deeply about it, then writing it does. And I know that's a slightly different game than what probably Word Agents does as a standard product. You can't expect your writers getting paid X per word to spend 2 hours smoking a cigar and chewing some gum and thinking about it. But that's for the person placing the order needs to have done that thinking before they put the order in. Like if you just spend that time thinking about the topic and what you need to cover, you'll do better keyword research than any tool. And I still think that's true for any niche, as long as you understand the niche. And if you don't understand the niche, put yourself in the niche. Go to shops that sell the thing. Do proper keyword research. What does the salesman do? Like, say you're going to do mattresses. What does the salesman do to try and make you buy that particular mattress? What does he think the pain point that you've got that he can solve is? And then go to a different shop. And so you said you had back pain at one shop. Go to the next one and say that you just can't ever get to sleep. You feel like mattresses are too hard. See what the salesman does.
I think a lot of people don't have the skill sets, or they're not sophisticated enough to even think that way. It's the mind of a business owner. We're all business owners, I think.
Well, that's why they're watching the show, so they can.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I hear that for sure.
Yeah.
I think my point being is a lot of people get into SEO just because it's make money online, make money from home. Start your digital agency and get clients from home. but they're working off a script, and they're not prepared to think outside the box and look and go where others are not to find a new advantage, a new opportunity. And I think that's tough for a lot of people, but once you can start thinking that way and your gears start turning where, you know, you're not going to take a script and just use it verbatim. You're going to take the script and apply it to what you're doing and slightly adjust it and add your own ideas. I think that's really what's necessary to get ahead. And it's going to show in your work too, because everything you do is going to be of a higher quality.
Yeah, and I think if you're doing the stuff that we're all doing and talking about here, you don't find yourself in one of those threads because you're not posting content that isn't relevant to people in your niche. You aren't posting content that isn't solving their problems. Because the problem isn't, they're not looking for best XYZ for ZYX. They're looking for, I'm struggling to sleep. So they're not, and I know someone's going to say, oh yeah, but I'll just do best mattress for someone who can't sleep. Well, one, that might not even be a keyword that has any search traffic, and it might not be the way that someone who has that problem words it. Right. So it might be correct, because I'm not an expert on the mattresses. That's not one of the niches we're in. So I don't think we've even got any clients in mattresses. No, I'm 100% sure we've got no one in mattresses. Maybe.
I have a ton, so
we might have one or two. We might have one or two that have got like stuff in the niche generally, but specific. We used to have like a weird like organic latex manufacturer type client, and all of their stuff was pretty. But it's all, you wouldn't realize like a lot of it is to do with. When people buy like latex mattresses and stuff, one of their big concerns is that memory foam's toxic. But if you do keyword research on latex mattresses, it's like best latex mattress, best. People early in the sales funnel were actually concerned about, is this mattress poisonous? What fumes come off it? So you're missing out on the whole early stage sales funnel if you don't have content about what fumes come off mattresses. Is it safe to have your kid be on a memory foam mattress? No, is my opinion, but you know, whatever. But all of that early stage sales funnel stuff you're missing if you just look in a keyword research tool, because you're just going to write best latex mattress for back pain, best latex mattress for sleeping on your side. None of that's any use to fucking anyone. That's not any of the questions that people have, but those are things that will show up in a keyword tool.
Right.
And I think that's probably the best example I've come up with of the problem.
We have to figure out how to change the intent of a SERP result. So if the entire SERP result is best lists like that, it's because Google was tricked into thinking that's what people want to see.
So build 10 sites and change the intent.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, I think there will be. You're not just totally being retarded by doing that. I don't want to be over the top and say that if you build those, you know, best latex mattress for back pain, you're not going to get search traffic. You're not going to get results. What my point is that no tool will tell you that there's actually huge amounts of traffic around the real reason that people, because I bought one, the real reason that people buy one has got nothing to do with any of those points. Like you know when you go looking for a latex mattress that a memory foam mattress will be more comfortable.
But mattresses is actually a very good example for this conversation, because do you guys know the site Sleepopolis?
Yeah. Oh, it was huge. The mattress thing has blown up in the last 2 years. It's
because of the site. They got sued by one of those mail order mattresses because of the information that they're giving out, because it was detrimental to the mattress company. But if you talk about depth and quality, this guy literally, he has every single best mattress for sex, best mattress for couples.
Have you read into what happened to the guy that used to own Sleepopolis?
No.
So what happened was he pretty much got threatened and bullied to sell out.
Oh, I vaguely remember this. Yeah. But then he got back in somehow, right?
I think he still is in it somehow. I haven't really checked up on him, but like he was the original mattress review guy that actually either got the mattress for free or paid for it, would sleep on it for a month, do an honest review, and was cool about it. And then all of a sudden, like, people started figuring out that like Nectar or Casper, whoever the fuck, pays like a 60% fucking commission on these mattresses. You know, they're selling for $2,000. That's quite a bit of money. You know, one sale off of your affiliate deal is worth like a lot.
$200. Yeah.
You know, like, it got super competitive in the last couple of years, and obviously because Sleepopolis has been around for like 5 years reviewing everybody and doing honest reviews and have the authority. People were trying to buy him. He wouldn't sell out because he had the rankings. No one was going to push him out of the way. And it was crazy. I'd love to get into it.
That was a uniquely fucked up situation.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, just to go back to my point, like,
yeah,
when you buy a latex mattress, the keyword tools are telling people that you need to be, what's the best latex mattress for XYZ, whether it's, like Garrett said, sex, sleep, back pain. The real reason you buy one, you know a memory foam mattress is going to be more comfortable. But the downside of the memory foam mattresses is it's plastic, the chemicals, the things that you don't want. So the real reason you buy it is over here, but it's not in the keywords because that's just a given. So all of those things that you're trying to rank for, they will make you money. Don't get me wrong, you should have that information on your site, but it's not the real purchase reason. And that's what the research that I did today is going to help us with our site. And it's and you just won't, and that's where the real money's made. That's where new people that are coming into that industry and making 300 million a year, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're targeting the actual real buying reason, the challenge that people are facing. There are still people making money doing, what's the cheapest XYZ for, but that's not where the
big money is.
Yeah, it's not where the people with the big money are investing their time. But there's no keyword tool that would have told us that. I had to go. And that's just someone who knows the industry really well.
Yeah.
I can't even pick it up reading the industry news. Going to one of these events and talking to people and seeing what the strategy the big players are actually up to has been really, 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 really useful.
Interesting.
And I think if you think about things you really care about. Don't think about things that are just impulse buys to you. Think about things that you think about a lot before you buy them. And then go in a keyword tool and have a look at the bullshit keywords it spews out and think about the real issues that you think about before you make that purchase decision. And then you'll see the disconnect in a real example for you. Like mattresses was one for me. But for things that you care about, you'll see examples yourself and you'll be able to just see that disconnect. And once you see that disconnect, you'll understand how to bridge it and to get the information that you need. And Vin will get it.
But you can't figure that out until you immerse yourself in the industry and you know what the real concerns are.
Yeah, if you're just trying to make money in the industry you know nothing about, you need to immerse yourself in the industry and then you'll find those things. But the way you can... All I'm trying to get across to people is how they would understand that gap exists, and the way they can do it is thinking about something that they really, really care about, a product that they're really passionate about, and then look at what the keyword tool comes up with, and then think about what they really care about in that niche, and there'll be a gap. That gap is what you need to learn for every niche that you're trying to make money out of. Otherwise, you're here.
Right.
You're missing out on where the real money is. People like yourself who really care about it and spend the big money on it are here. The keyword tools are here. And you can only bridge that gap by understanding the difference.
And the tools try to do that with their content gap analysis, where you plug in 3 competitors and see which keywords that you don't have that they do have. But all 3 of those competitors are using the same tool, so they're all getting the same information anyway. So, wow.
I mean, we spoke before. I mean, SERP, you do find some interesting angles on SERP with their keyword tool and stuff. Some of them are doing a good job, but it's a good job as, like Ben said, the echo chamber's pretty big.
Yeah.
So if you're clever about the sites you put into the input, you get better output. But
well, we're
should we get through this last article?
Yeah, we're dragging a little bit here.
And then we're gonna do the round of the week.
All right.
So let's do the last article.
So what was this? Somebody set up a fake...
I'll do it super quickly so that we don't lose loads of time.
Vin's wearing shorts in November, but all right.
Yeah. Well, he's already told us he runs his air conditioning like so that it's fridge temperatures in the summer. Now that it's winter, he runs his heating so that it's a fucking oven. Because that's the American dream. You have
summer. I was just talking to some friends about this last week. Like it's abnormally cold in Minnesota. Like the last few weeks, it's been in the 20s in the beginning of November, and it's like. Shit. It's like in the springtime when it's 40 degrees, you run outside with t-shirts and shorts because you're so used to the cold. But because cold came so early this fall, it's like everyone's wearing winter jackets and shit because, I mean, it is cold. It's in the 20s, but usually it doesn't hit you that fast. And it's like, God damn. But anyway.
Apparently the sun is abnormally cool at the minute. They're actually going to have snow in Texas this year.
Yeah. It already happened, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, just to run through this boring story really quickly. This band, 318, like the guy just decided he was going to make a fake social media following and then book up the whole of the UK, like all of these big venues based on his social media following and like they guaranteed X number of buys. And then he just turned up and performed to all these empty arenas. So it was just a pure fake influencer play. The guy's an artist, obviously. Like he deleted all the social profiles immediately after pulling off this con. Who knows what he was trying to achieve? But it was just a pure fake influencer con. But we just know like all these big brands are falling for this exact con that all these venues in the UK fall for. Some bullshitter that's got some fake social following can just take their money.
Did you watch the music video?
I didn't. Is he any good?
I just have it here. I'll watch it after the show.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't. I just thought it was hilarious. Like, just he performed to like nobody around the UK at all these big venues. It's just make sure your influencers actually are real people. Come on.
Oh, hey, that's me, Mel, and my keyboardist Tim. Promoter sent us free tickets, so we came. I actually bought a t-shirt because I felt bad. They'd come so far to play for two people. Didn't know about all the fake stuff until the next day. Fab venue, though. I've never been, and it will come again.
It must be pretty cool to have been one of the people who actually did go, like when there was 3 people there, and like the band playing, and you're at this huge venue, and there's just 3 of you there watching the show. It's like, fuck. But yeah, anyway, round of the week. The one I picked out. Vin, because you missed last week. The new round of the week is you need to go on Twitter, search for @Ranfish, and we do a rundown of his whole week on Twitter. We analyze his whole week now. Kind of a quick rundown of how we performed. But I start with the one I picked. So the one I picked was.
Wait, have we checked the rankings of SparkToro.net? If it's on the first page yet?
It's not on the first page yet.
No, it's getting. All right, go ahead. Let's do.
So Rand asks, someone reaches out via colleague, employee you didn't have a good experience with. How do you reply given litigation plus reputational risks? Say we work together and assume the implication comes through. Be transparent despite risk. Ignore. Don't reply. Something else. And here's my tip of advice for you, Rand. You should call him a racist on Twitter in public. That's how you handle this issue. The guy, you didn't have a good experience with him. You should totally just fuck up the rest of his life. Like, he should never have a job again if you didn't have a good experience with him.
That's the one from 3 hours ago here?
Yeah.
You're such a well-balanced individual, Rand. Your judgment about a good experience with them probably justifies you just the whole life.
I drank all my wine again. God damn.
You better open another bottle.
Oh.
I'm already on bottle number 2. It's all good.
I'm about to be on number 3 here.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I need to catch up.
What does Mr. Rand have going on tonight?
I mean, like, seriously, dude. Like, you didn't have a good experience with him. Just let him go and get a new job and then start his life over again. I mean, he already worked for fucking Mars, I'm assuming. The poor bastard was surrounded by fucking just insanity.
I'm just looking at SparkTorrent.net again. I can't get over this fucking website.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing.
So we're just looking for stupid Rand quotes or Rand tweets.
Here's one from.
We're just reviewing his week on Twitter. I mean, if he says something good,
I have a good one from the 13th of November.
Okay.
I see why am I. It's a link to SparkToro or something or another. The fastest growing tactic in marketing has some problems we need to address. So I'm gonna click this, and I mean, what a delusional fucking tweet, Rand. It seems that search engine optimization, it's a really vague post that I just said. It really doesn't make any sense to anybody. And then you look at the graphic. It's a graph, and it basically says that influencer marketing is getting some interest over time. So I guess this is a plug for SparkToro.
Of course it is.
But he's made such a opposition in his own thing. Like, what does ICYMI stand for again? I can't. I have to Google.
I don't know.
ICME. I have to actually click something on Google to get it. Okay, that's still not. In case you missed it, yeah. All right, so he said, in case you missed it, the fastest growing tactic in marketing has some problems we need to address. And all he's shown is a graph that influencer marketing is supposedly having a lot more interest than anything else. But it's like, so what? What do we need to address, Rand? How about you stop leeching traffic and just say what you have to say? Excuse me.
Bless you.
And he's written a big post, the 10 biggest problems with influencer marketing. Number one, the practice is far too narrowly defined. It's advertising is so widely. It is so widely defined. Are you insane? Follower accounts plus keywords are a terrible way to select influencers. You don't fucking say. How?
Yeah, I mean, do you want your venue being performed by a band with no one telling?
Yeah.
Measuring ROI is remarkably difficult. No, it's not. You are a fucking idiot. Number three, you should just quit your business now. Likes, comments, impressions, and website visits are mediocre measures of impact. Yeah, I'll give you that because you didn't include like the rest of your so-called funnel and what happened. I mean, if you're offering influencer marketing, aren't you offering analytics to go with it? And how many sales and how many revenue numbers? And really, Rand, obviously. So did you provide in his 3 paragraphs? I'm going to say 1 paragraph because it's only about 6 sentences that he split apart into 3. Now, he didn't give a solution, just a bitch. Variance of results is too high. Number 5. Campaign A, Instagram influencer. Number 1 puts up 4 stories and 2 posts that feature your product. Campaign B, influencer. Number 2 puts up 4 stories and 2 posts. Campaign A would be 10 times more successful than B. Half as successful or 1/10 as successful, and no one would be surprised. What the fuck does that mean?
I think the whole point of this post is that SparkToro alleviates all of these problems.
No,
well,
that is
no,
except
wait,
it doesn't do anything. It's not even a product. You can't use it.
No. He clearly answers this in one of his other tweets on the Rand of the Week. So Stopian Cyprian asks, Rand, do you have a tool for influencers marketing on Instagram and YouTube? He says, no thanks. Got something else I'm working on, because he thinks it's all about publishers and where people read. Because that's what Spark Toro is going to tell you. Good luck.
People
with that,
like Joe Sinkwins are printing
marketing.
Like a few $1 million a year in these networks for a reason. Because young schoolgirls
is all about Instagram and fucking YouTube. Are you fucking retarded?
You ask a girl in high school what social media platforms they're on, Snapchat, Instagram, and Pinterest. You go into college and you get guys on Snapchat and some Instagram stuff, and then the girls are still on the other two I didn't mention. Now, brain farting, but you get my point.
Well, and YouTube is like, it doesn't matter what age anyone is, everyone watches way too much YouTube. Like, you can find a teenager and they're on YouTube 24/7. A fucking toddler, they're watching fucking Blippi on YouTube. The guy's a millionaire. He became. But Rand's busy working on something else. Do you know what else pisses me off about Rand is he hasn't learned from the way he disrespects Sarah Bird and how she saved Moz. His new business partner, no mention of him. Got something else I'm building. It's like, no, you're not, Rand. You can't code. You're going on holiday in Italy, as we can also tell on other tweets on the Round of the Week. He's on holiday in Italy while his buddy's coding the actual. I mean, it's going to be a piece of shit because it's Rand's idea. Sorry, Rand, but it really is going to be bad. Because you don't understand influencer marketing. You should just have he should have gone to influencer marketing days in New York, sat himself down with Joe Sinkwitz and had Joe tell him why his idea was stupid, and he would have just saved himself. Go to the industry conferences, people, and talk to people who know what they're talking about. But
I wish I could say that Rand is.
He's building it.
I wish I could say that Rand is ideological about Spark Toro. He's just insane about what he thinks is going to happen. I think Rand might think he's ideological about it, but it's not. It's just absolutely insane.
It's absolutely insane. People do influencer marketing because it gives you more reach per dollar of ad.
If Rand actually saw us talking about him, he'd probably be that guy to say, "Oh, bad press is good press." It's like, no, Rand, we've been talking about you for a year and a half, and you yet to have a product on market. What is so hard about this?
And he also doesn't understand that we're actually in the longest period of war in human history. He tweets out on Armistice Day, "I am so thankful to those who had the courage to silence their guns. So thankful to live in such a relatively peaceful era of human history." We're in the most horrific mass murdering by governments, warmongering period of human history, Rand. Like, do you not remember George W. Bush and Tony Blair, the biggest mass murderers in history? I mean, Jesus Christ, Tony Blair. He did try, and he was as delusional as Rand. Like, Tony Blair tried to put himself forward for the UN peace envoy. It's like, for the Middle East, you killed 500,000 civilians in the Middle East. Like, you're right up there with like Stalin and Hitler. Like, you want to be the UN peace envoy for the Middle East. Tony Blair was a special guy. I think him and Rand would have really got on well.
I'm sure.
They would have been best buddies. So his Armistice Day tweet really just showed a lot of respect and understanding of world politics and what's going on. His gated community is as peaceful as he's ever seen it. So things are good in the world, right? Let's find some more.
Anyway, so wrapping up the show here, I have a review for once.
Here we go.
Clicky. Our friend John introduced me to it. It's a web analytics suite.
I've been a member for about 3 years.
Oh, have you?
Why haven't you reviewed it yet, you son of a bitch?
I thought it was a well-known tool. I didn't know you guys didn't know what it was.
I didn't. I love it.
I don't use any analytics, so I don't know about any tools.
I guess what I'll say is I've been really interested in heat maps lately. And then John asked me what I was about to pay at Hotjar. Like, I don't know, I think it's like $80 a month and you get like 5 heat maps. Clicky is a full fucking suite analytics tool that you can add on like all the fucking bonuses for like $200 a year and get a full heat map, get everything. So it obviously far outweighs the value of Hotjar that I was using just for a heat map. I haven't had much time to dig around with it, so I'll let Vin talk about it. He's been using it.
I just use the free analytics plugin. I don't pay for anything.
Oh.
But back in the day, the rumor was that if you plug your gray hat affiliate sites into Google Analytics, you're opening yourself up to a manual review. So everybody would use Clicky as an alternative to Google Analytics to get the data they need for their website. So the site that I sold a couple of years ago was on Clicky, and all of my less than white hat sites were on Clicky. And it was a solid analytics platform for me. It gave me all the information I needed to make educated decisions. So definitely a solid alternative, or actually the only alternative I know that I would use to Google Analytics.
What's the one that we used to use years ago? What was it called? It was like some open source one. Let me try and find it.
At first, I thought you meant Crazy Egg, and that's the one that I've been paying for a few years. That's a heat map tool also. But
I can't find it. There's some open source one that we used to use years ago that was pretty decent. They rebranded though, so I can't remember what their new name is. I think we spoke about it on the show though, so probably, if you want to watch like 52 episodes of the show to find the one review we spoke about it, then go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that Clicky had a heat map tool. I got to check that out because I was just about to sign up for Hotjar. And if you like Clicky for heat maps, maybe I'll give that a shot too.
Trying to find what it's called. Oh, it was Piwik. I think they rebranded though.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard that in a long time.
Oh, it's called Matomo now. But yeah, no, that was pretty decent. Pretty decent analytics tool.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Clicky's pretty sweet, I think. You're getting live feedback. I think it's way better than Google Analytics for those of you using that. I think I've said before, for general stuff, I like Jetpack for giving me general insights and stuff. I think it's plenty from what I need to deduce from stuff. But this is cool, and honestly, it's super cheap for a couple $100 a year. You get the full-blown suite and all the add-ons. Like, I don't see how you can't just pay that. And if you don't want to be using Google Analytics, even though I don't care, I have all the sites tied into GA. This is way easier to use. It's way more detailed. It's way more features. It seems pretty cool. I'll update you guys in the next few weeks. But I like it. I think it's pretty sweet. I'm still in the free version. I'm sure I'll end up paying for it, but
yeah, I think you'll like it. I gave in and I went back to Google's products, but they don't. Does Google Analytics have a heat map tool?
No.
No. So I think just for heat map alone, I'll either use Crazy Egg or Hotjar. Because
don't use Crazy Egg. I mean, come on. For all the times we've spoken about Neil Patel on the show, don't use Crazy Egg, man. If you tweet out, there's loads of Crazy Egg competitors. If you tweet out, "I hate Crazy Egg," you'll get like 15 sales reps message you on Twitter, and they'll give you a deal.
Well, you know what it is? I'm on the auto renew, and so it always renews, and I forget that I did it, and I don't want to go through the hassle of asking for a refund, so I just keep it for another year, and it just.
I just can't see the point of paying Hotjar well over $1,000 a year when I can have unlimited heat map access and Clicky for $200 a year.
I don't think Clicky doesn't give you the click recordings like Hotjar does.
Oh, it's not as detailed?
I think it's a very basic heat map with Clicky. Hotjar has some pretty
Like
advanced features.
all the scroll and
Yeah. So they're basically recording the movements of the users, every user.
So that's something I should think about. Okay.
So, yeah, just compare the features, but I think for a low cost option, Clicky is good.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Yeah, I guess I'll have to look into it and see what happens. But we're coming up on 2 hours, so I guess we can call it a wrap, huh?
Cool.
Well, we've run out of content, so.
Hey, it was a good 1 year show today, I think, guys.
Yeah.
It was a 1 year special.
Yeah.
We got two new features. We've got the round of the week. We didn't have that a year ago. We've got the how to fly to Brighton SEO for free, courtesy of Chase.
Nice.
We got all the new features. We're going to add like at least 7 new features this year. The show's just going to be features soon. There'll be no news.
Yeah, we're not even going to do SEO news by this time next year.
We're going to be on Fox News at this point.
That would be the dream come true. If we just didn't have to talk about SEO at all in the show, that would be the dream come true for me.
All right, dudes. I will catch you all next week.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for joining us.
We're not going to see any of us next week.
3 weeks.
Thanks. 3 weeks time. 3 weeks time. We'll see you guys.
Don't forget to smash that like button. Email Sassy Steve your SEO questions of the week, because no one ever does. Share, subscribe, and everything else helps us out. See ya maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. Adios.
See ya.
Adios.